It's day 47 of the Zombie Hunter build. Today what we're going to work on is all the front end accessories. So to start things off, I have this 5-bar checker plate. So this is aluminum. I think it's 3003 aluminum, I'm pretty sure, which isn't the strongest kind, but you know, for the purpose of standing on, you know, it's not like structural or anything like that, but it'll you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it and lay it out on top of the fenders here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, I couldn't get it in black. I wish I would have got it in black, so I'm going to paint this black. And then as it wears, it'll kind of, you know, the shiny metal will kind of peek through and stuff. It'll kind of look kind of cool, I think. But so that's one. I have to add these. Okay, so that's another one. And again, these are the aftermarket ones, so they're not as refined as the OEM ones, but you know, they get the job done. They look the part, and more importantly, they were cheap. All right, so I have that. And then also what I'd like to do is incorporate these little tie-down rings, right? So these ones I got from Front Runner. I liked them because they were black. They were also very heavy duty. So they use these for their racks. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to get some limb risers on the truck. So I don't have anything to mount it to up there yet, but ideally what I want is you know, have the cables going up from the fender up and protecting my windshield from any damage or brush that I come across. Also, cosmetically, I think it looks cool. So I'll get those put on there as well. It's coming together pretty nicely. It's already, you know, a head turner. If I'm driving down the street, everyone looks. I'm sure it doesn't help that I don't have a muffler on there right now, but you know, it's getting done. So the here's the rear bumpers that I redid. So I fixed it, welded in all the metal, finished it off, so they look perfect, or next to perfect. So now with that, I'm gonna have to add my tire carrier. So I'll do that for this, and then I can probably swap out the top, or so. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But right now, let's work on the front of the truck. Get all this extra stuff put on there, make it look cool, and then be done with it. Because you know, I had this stuff sitting around for a long time, and I bought this on eBay. I bought it for pretty cheap. I don't remember the exact price. Like, I can give you the price breakdown later on once I'm completed with the entire project. But again, this is already purchased and it was already in the budget. My total budget was $8,500. I'm still under that budget. I don't know how much. I have to look at the spreadsheet, but you know, this was like, I want to say like 30 bucks on eBay, plus shipping. So it didn't come out to too much. But I got a 48 by 24 inch piece, so I can cut that in half. I'll cut it diagonally so that I have my, oh, I can't cut it diagonally, can I? I have to figure out how to do it. I don't want to make sure that I don't have two of the same side. So I'll play around with that, and I should be able to cut it diagonally. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So I want to make sure that I have two mirrored sides, right? Instead of two of the same side, because then I'll have to buy it again, and I don't want to do that. So I'll make a template and have a bunch of cardboard here that I'll make the template out of. You know, the kids jungle gym came in pretty handy, so I have a lot of excess cardboard sitting around now. So I'll do that, make the template based on this fender, cut it out, and then smooth out the edges and everything like that, and then spray paint it with black primer, and it should be good. All right, so here's what it looks like. 5-bar checker plate. You see it all around Europe. We actually were just in Paris, and they use this tread everywhere. So, like, even along the streets, at the crosswalks, the curb is made out of this stuff. Not aluminum, obviously. We use plastic, but that's what we're going for. So it must work well. So that'll be again on there. Provide a little surface area to stand on. It's kind of reinforced a little bit, and then supposedly it blocks glare. It will be sprayed in a flat black, so hopefully that'll block any glare. All right, so now what I have to do is I have to remove all this crap off of the vehicle so that I can put my template on there, or make my template off of a piece of cardboard. So I have to get it completely flush on there and figure out all the edges and I want it to fit exactly. You could buy them on eBay. I could buy these already pre-made. They're expensive. They're like $300 or something, plus shipping or whatever. I bought that whole thing for $30 plus, like, I want to say like $25 for shipping. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was like around $50. So I'm gonna have 2 of them for $50. That's a lot better deal. And this truck is a budget build, and it's gonna look better and be more functional. The ones on eBay and on the internet are like this short. So you have like all this empty space. It looks unfinished. It doesn't look right to me. So I'd rather have the entire top of the fender covered in it. Yeah, I think it'll look a lot cleaner. So that's what I'm gonna do. So once I take these off, put the cardboard down there, cut it out, make sure it fits perfectly, and both sides aren't identical because I did do some work on that side, so I don't know how much where the turn signals are on that side. Like, they might be a shift of a millimeter or so in either direction. You can't see it with the naked eye, but you never know. So I'm not going to just replicate the exact same thing on each side. Also, the fenders aren't symmetrical. Like, they're close. You can't tell the difference, but again, I worked on that side. I did a lot of welding. If you remember, that thing was completely Swiss cheese, and I completely refurbished that entire fender. So that was complete trash. So it might be off a little bit in some areas. So what I'll do is I'll make each one independently, and just take the time to make sure that everything looks good. So I'll take these off, put them on there, cut it out, make sure it looks good, and then transfer it over to the aluminum and cut out the aluminum. And then I have to drill the holes. So what I'll do is I'll put, I'll put these on first, drill the holes on where they should be. And I gotta make sure it looks perfect. So I'll mark the holes, drill them, and then I'll put the aluminum on there. And from the bottom, where the openings are, I'll just take a little bit of paint or a marker or something and mark the holes, and then that way I can just drill it that way. I think that's the best way to go about it. All right, as far as securing it to the truck, there's different ways I can go about it. The simplest way and the best way I can think of is just to get little stainless bolts and bolt it, in certain sections to the truck. I could have riveted it in, but once I riveted it in, then I can't remove it, and I'll have to just cut the rivets and redo it. I could riv nut it. I don't have the tool to do that, and I don't see the purpose of, there's no difference. It's not like I can't access it from the inside anyway. So riv nuts pointless in this situation. And I could also glue it. Like, there's a lot of different kinds of like 3M has come up with incredible different kinds of adhesives. But then I'm always nervous about that too. So who knows if like a little bit of wind catches or something like that, or it's not completely bonded correctly or whatever, for whatever reason, then it'll be lifting and stuff like that. So I don't like that idea. So I think bolting it to the fender is the best way, simplest way, and the best way. All right, so unfortunately I ran out of batteries on my camera, but I didn't want to stop, so I continued. I ended up making the template out of wood. This just came with the actual aluminum, like a protective little support inside the box. So I created that template based off of this. And so this is how it will sit. All right. And then I just wrote passenger side on this side and driver side on this side because a few millimeters of error is not going to make a difference. And then I used dry erase marker and just put it on here. So here's the driver side and here's the passenger side. All right. So now what I have to do is I take the cutoff wheel and just carefully cut this out. And the reason I have the outside edges out like this is because in the event that I do kind of screw up, it's not going to show as much because you have the hood here. So I have, you know, if it happens to be a little bit wavy or whatever, you're not really going to see that. But, you know, the factory edge is clean, so that's why I did that. All right, so here's what it looks like. This is in the raw state still, so I'm gonna take a grinder to it and then grind it all down, grind all the edges, round it off the edges here, and then, you know, secure it. So I gotta maybe take a little bit off on the inside edge there so it sits more inboard a little bit. When I transferred it with the marker, it didn't take into account the additional little bit of you know, size and dimension, so it's probably like a millimeter more on each side. So I'll trim the inside a little bit and do it all by hand now, but that's what it's going to look like. It looks great, but again, it's going to be in black, so it's going to look a little bit better. And then these are going to go on top. That I don't know the exact placement, but like that. All right, so I'm getting pretty excited about how this is going to turn out. Just to get a little feel of what it's going to look like, I'm going to give each one a little spray of black, flat black primer paint. Alright, so here's the tread plate in place. I still have to put the nuts on the bottom of these stainless bolts that I put on there, these machine screws. So I'll do that and get it on there. I'm too short, so I need to stop by Home Depot, and I actually used all of their supply that they had in stock for this project. So now I'm gonna have to run to a different Home Depot and just grab a couple more of these stainless ones. So just to fill in the rest of it. I'm working through electrical gremlins as we speak. These turn signals are not working as they should, and that goes for all of them around the truck. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to delve deeper into that. I hate the electrical systems in cars and things like that. You know, you don't know where the mistake might be, and it just overwhelms me a lot. So I don't know. Maybe I'll take it to someone else who knows what they're doing as far as that it goes. We'll see. I don't want to spend any more money. You know, so far I've been pretty good with sticking to my budget. So anyway, so I'll just reattach everything and then get that worked on later. I'll put in my little eye bolt on each side, and that's going to be for my limb raisers. So they're going to attach here. I'll put the put these in, have everything bolted in, and just have it all set up and ready to go. So I like how it looks. It might look a little bit like a Defender, but that's okay with me because they're cool too. And I like how you can purchase these tread plates, and but the ones that I've seen are smaller. It's like a small little strip, and I don't know, it doesn't really look as complete to me. So this, I think, looks a lot better, covering the entire area of the top of the fender. So I'll put that all together, and then it's safe to leave outside now. I covered in every one of the holes with Pore 15, and hopefully there won't be any rusting. And if there is a little bit of rusting, oh well. There's a little bit of rusting everywhere on the truck anyway. So, all right, back to work. Looks a lot better.